Welcome to the Explosive Street Podcast with Jared Bidney. On today's episode, I have another one of my kids with me, Coltin Houser. Coltin was able to bench 405 for 2 while in high school, also with a 625 squat. He also had the highest vertical jump in the country. We're just going to talk to Coltin about his life growing up with lifting, how it helped him with sports, and kind of just whatever else pops up. Okay, well, welcome to the show, Coltin.
What's up?
All right. Coltin, what's your first recollection of lifting? Do you remember when you first started lifting?
Squatting 65 pounds for a set of 20 in the garage while crying.
Yeah, but you worked pretty good at it, although y'all would still cry and finish it though, wouldn't you? You wouldn't cry and quit.
No, I remember we had to stay down there. We did a bunch of stuff, but then always ended up upstairs, but always were down there looking out pretty regularly.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the garage thing. What about your first gym? Remember when we started the gym? I guess it was always like a home for y'all, so y'all thought it was like a jungle gym. Y'all were in there swinging around bars and things like that.
I don't even really remember actually working out that much until we got the second gym. Because the first one we would kind of just go and mess around and not really do anything but sit in the office.
Yeah, I had you was in 3rd grade and you could swing a 70-pound kettlebell. You don't remember that, do you?
No.
Too young.
All I remember is like power cleaning, 55 pounds and dropping on my leg.
Oh yeah, I did make them do some cleans and stuff back in the day. We did so much stuff and it's been so long that I can't even remember really a lot of the beginnings. That's kind of
when we were in the garage. It was 11 years ago.
Did you start off? We didn't start off jumping a lot, did we? Or were y'all just screwing around on boxes?
Really, it was just box jumps. The first jump. We didn't really do vertical that much. I don't feel like. I don't think we really did that. Cause you got that where you hit the slats on it when we hit the second gym, didn't you? The first one.
No, I had that at the first gym.
I don't remember using that until we hit the second gym. I think most of the first gym was just box jumps pretty much all the time. And the second gym for the mud. You didn't get the jump mats until we came here, did you?
No, the jump mats I got at the second gym. But I didn't really.
You didn't do dumbbell jumps and all that, did you?
No, we started dumbbell jumps when we were here.
Yeah, because I don't really remember using them that much.
Yeah, originally I bought the jump mats. I do have a West Side barbell plow swing. And I was trying to work on ground contact time, 0.2 of a second or less. And I originally bought the jump mats to tie to the plow swing so that I could measure contact time with the plow swing.
Where you jump off of the, use your feet and push back in the chair?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that when you're trying to like put it up on the...
Yeah, put it up on the thing so that's the original reason I bought them. And so how we started with the dumbbell jumps and things, I would have different stations set up in the gym. We'd do bear squats with that thing. Remember that thing we had on shoulders and it had like chains and the weight was in front? We did depth jumps. We did jumps with different loads of weighted jumps, which are now dumbbell jumps. So hopefully I'm gonna explain everything in the book. I know a lot of people have been asking about that jump book. I'm gonna write a jump book. I'm in the process of writing it this month, which is December. So hopefully I should have it finished by the end of this month. I don't know anything about writing a book. It's my first go around. I don't really have any help, so I'm just trying to feel for it on my own. So just be patient with me. It'll be out.
How many people jump over 40?
I think right now we still are at 19, almost 20 people, 40-inch verticals.
And people think that like 40 inches is crazy. You've had that. I didn't even know you had that many people jump that high.
But for y'all, it's like if you see someone benching 200.
That's like nothing.
Yeah, you're like, why can't you
Because I came back and did 355, 365, and I thought it was trash.
Yeah, you see.
I was doing that in 9th grade.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
I did 335.
Yeah, you did 335 in 8th grade.
So when I do that stuff, it's just not good at all to me.
But that's what I think. A lot of people around here, especially the new kids, they'll see someone jumping so high and they can't get there. Your What was your first ever number for a vertical? Do you ever remember your first vertical number?
Earliest hard was like 31 point something. But I think the point I was stuck at for the longest time was like 30.69.
Then once you broke it, it kept going up.
Yeah, once I started focusing on that.
Yeah, because you didn't really focus on the dumbbell. You just kind of went over there, halfway did them, and
When
went
you
on to the next
started
thing.
you gave me that sticker with, that was 2 or 3 years ago. You had the sticker, you get the weights 2 days, I think, in a row. Or no, it was one, whatever, you had to beat whatever
Yeah,
you got with that weight, the lower weight with the higher weight.
Yeah.
And whenever I started doing that, that's when it started going up every single month.
But it's always recording, huh?
Yeah.
Like the folders.
And I would be beating my verticals from testing the month before in the middle of the month.
Yeah.
Because doing that.
But it's just once you get on the jumps with the weights, you just got to stay on them. I think if you come in and focus on beating those numbers, like you said, that's really what helps shoot you up. And you had the highest vertical jump kid in the country. You were the highest vertical jumper.
Yeah. And I didn't even jump my highest.
Yeah, you didn't. Yeah, didn't even. Your highest. What's your highest vertical?
44.5.
44.5, and you jumped up.
I jumped like a 43.
8.
Yeah.
8. So, but at least they did tweet that out, and they did name you highest vertical jump kid in the country. But I guess we've jumped for so long that you don't really remember starting the jump.
I don't even remember having really. I remember seeing and knowing 31, I think, but for the longest time it was like 36, 37, stuck right there for like the long. Once Kyle started going up, that's when I started focusing on, all right, I'm gonna get 40.
Yeah, you was trying to get.
Kept going up.
Did you try to beat him, or were y'all in a race for
with him? It was just a vertical. I was like,
yeah, because you already had him on all the strength stuff.
Yeah, he had 30. He had like 41 or 40 point something like that. 42 maybe. And I was still at 37, or like at that point maybe I was at like 39, something like that. And I just wanted to beat whatever he had. But when I did that, it just went up until I peaked at 44.5. I couldn't go any higher.
Yeah, but after that, I think once we drove I was really pressing for those combine numbers going into your senior season.
After that, it was.
After we got to that point, after the whole peaking thing was to try to get you to perform at that Nike, the Nike Combine, the Nike opening. That was a lot. I put a lot of pressure on you, didn't I?
Yeah, it was, but it helped a lot, except for everything except the Powerball. But that's.
Yeah, we'll figure out the Powerball thing one time, but you also ran, and when we're talking numbers, everybody, it's complete laser. And if you've never ran a complete laser, you have no judgment. Laser 10, laser 20. Your L drill, you ran a 6.8 L drill. Most people don't even know what it is.
6.81. Oh no,
6.80.
Yeah, okay.
You ran a 4.10 and a 4.11 on a complete laser shuttle. And your numbers as a high school student, you did 225 29 times. 405 for 2, 450 for 1. That's still the school record.
That was still my junior year too.
All your junior year.
Because my senior year was mostly. My junior year was so. Like.
Critical for getting these numbers.
Yeah, because that's when I started to actually get more serious with it, because I played freshman year, stopped playing football sophomore year, and then when I came back junior year, even right when the season started, that's when I really started taking it serious, was when I was working out with Andrew Donovan, and we would come in here every day.
Oh yeah, that's when we all worked out together at night.
It would be 8 o'clock every night.
Yeah, that's when you did that.
That's when we did all that stuff. We'd be like front squatting stuff like 300, 400 pounds.
Yeah, with Coltin, everybody, we started doing more of a max effort, and our speed work was with our jumps. We would do 3 rep maxes and stuff one week with the Cambridge bar. He's done a Cambridge bar box squat one week. Next week we went and did a 405 front squat, box squat. You did 405 for 3. Our box squat is set up, our box itself is 12 inches. and our foam pad is a 6-inch foam pad set on top of that 12-inch box. So actually, when you sit on that foam pad, you sink. So it's not very high, but I think when I do have people sit on a normal hard box, their 40s and their verticals don't change that much. Now,
Like the little red one.
yeah, and so we always box squat with a softer foam pad instead of using a hard surface. You squatted 625
Yeah, that was.
off that 12-inch box with that foam pad, the 6 inches foam pad, but you're not squatting 18 inches. You're actually sinking in that thing pretty good.
You sink probably. There's probably only half or less of the foam pad that you're resting on when you go down all the way.
What do you think? How do you think you did a 625 squat? As your squat went up, your vertical jump went up too, didn't it?
Yeah, that's when I really started. That's just all around the time that I started focusing, because I think the 44.5, all that stuff was my junior year, and because that's just the summer before that, and that whole year was when I started actually. That's what I'm saying. I started when I started working out with Andrew, and then it got to the point where we would come in here, and we would just be doing stupid stuff. Like, you ran out of stuff to tell us, so we would just make stuff up. Be like doing outrageous things on dips, just whatever. But once football season ended, and I started actually working towards the combine and everything, that's when I think I squatted 600, 605, and I did the 625 like a month and 2 months later, just because, and with the bench and everything, just because. Not as much so with the bench, because bench was something that I always
Was good at.
just worked on that. But when it came to squat, when it got to my junior year and I realized like all these combines, like this is my last year to do everything.
You had to do everything.
You got to compete with that, like your lower body too. So that's when I started focusing on that, and I was actually mentally, because that's when I would come in here in like 8th grade, whatever. I was still. You would give me like 315 box squat, 5 sets of 5, and I would do like 3 sets and get to the 4th set, do like 2 reps and just write 5 for everyone, just because I didn't want to do it, but I knew I could do it, and it's just that constantly. But once I started realizing, oh, I'm giving like 80%, 75% effort, and this is what my numbers are doing, and they're still growing, what happens when I go 100%, 115%. So when I got to my junior year and I actually put in all that extra effort and did everything, I come to you and ask you, what do you want me to do every single day? That's when I started seeing more major improvements.
Yeah, but we started working together a lot more as you got more mature with it.
Yeah, just because once you see how much, for me, it was when I saw how much it would do for me when I would half-ass a workout, then that's when I realized, okay, if I go 100%, it's going to be twice as good as what's happening right now. So that's when I started taking it more serious.
We started working together and trying to really help you drive those numbers. But you also learned, I think it was really your junior year, where you really learned how to get in the zone. You'd go turn a song on. You'd jump with song, you'd play a certain song when you squatted. You kind of left everything and all the outside noise behind you. When we were chasing these vertical jump numbers, you'd go throw My Savages right there when you was getting your 44.
That's what I'd have to.
You kind of put everybody off to the side and say, hey, look, this is me, these are my numbers. And that's what you were doing. I don't know if you even realized it. When you squatted that 625, the music changed, everybody gathers around, and you're just walking down almost like a tunnel, because you had that tunnel vision for that goal and for that squat, and you had the same thing going on for your jump. You was also getting that same zone for your shuttles. What do you think drove the zone? What do you think drives it? That chasing the numbers, does it make workouts a lot easier? I don't even say workouts, it makes training a lot better when you have those numbers to chase per workout.
It's just having a goal like that. It's like you're not gonna go anywhere if you don't know where you want to go. Like, if you don't know what you want to do, that's why I'll see kids in here and they're just doing whatever, and they don't know what they want to do. They don't know how much they want to do. But that's what came with being mature around this environment. Is once you know what you want, then you can put yourself. And when you're able to put yourself in a position to actually do that and go get it, then and know what you have to do for that. That's why when I would be jumping, I would know, all right, I can't just be over here talking to people. I would go. You would say, all right, we'll jump again in like 2 or 3 minutes. I would have a song ready. I go in the office or go sit in the bathroom just so I would not be around anybody. I look at the clock. Once that time hit, I go straight to the radio, play the song, and be like, all right, let's go, and go jump. And that was it. Like, you just have to know what you want to do, and you have to know how to put yourself mentally in a place to do that, because that's probably most of what it is. If you're not confident or you're not mentally in the right place to do something, you're not going to be successful when you try it.
Yeah, and you were gotten really good at zoning into it. What do you think? What would you tell some of the younger kids? You know, it's because I mean, I try to. You know, I always preach to y'all of trying to, hey, look, what can I do to help you? Sometimes you don't know. Do you think just being here, going halfway through it, and still getting better, then once it does click, it really clicked? Or
I just think that they have to. All the kids most kids are just inconsistent. And I don't think that's their fault.
It's their parents' fault.
Their parents, because they'll get better, and they won't keep them here. But if your kid is playing a sport or whatever that they're going to stick with through all of school, like I started working out 11 years ago when I was 8 years old, and always played sports or did something. So I always worked out. And they bring their kids here, and even in seasons, I would come work out.
Yeah, you'd come after football practice.
Yeah, I would, especially that's what junior year was. I would come in here every single day.
Yeah, you were playing a lot. You wasn't sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah, that was when I played almost I pretty much basically played every snap on defense. So when we were at practice, I would be in for starting team, and they put me in for scout team because they didn't have anybody else. So I come here after that.
Basically running both ways at practice, then coming here. And you're a high-end athlete too.
That was hard, but that's one thing. I just knew what I had to do for what was to come after the season. But for the younger kids, it's like their parents don't keep them in this place where they're growing and they're like for their craft, whatever they're doing, like they're getting better physically, and that's going to help them later when they develop more of a skill. They're going to have all the physical ability.
Yeah, because if the kids are in here like you were, and you said you were going through everything like with a half-ass effort at a younger age, but when you got to the point to where it clicked, you was already so much higher because even doing everything half-ass, you was getting better.
That's what, especially because people could come here, and even high schoolers will come here and they'll do the same thing. They won't really care, but that's why I think if kids actually stayed here and grew up around this environment, so when they got older, they would realize, okay, I've already moved from here to here in this many years, and then they start taking it serious. That's what's going to help them get better than they think they're ever going to be, because that's how I was. I didn't take it serious until I saw how good I was, how strong I was getting, how much that helped me in my sport. That's why it helped. It all came together my senior year, because my junior year, I took a year off and came back, and everything was, I had the physical ability, but I didn't know how all the little pieces moved on the field in football. But when I got to my senior year, I could tell each one of the front 7 people in the defense what they're doing for every single play, know exactly what I have to do every play, and be the most physical, able person on the field. So that's why when you get to where it really matters and you have all that ability, then that's what's going to help you. That's why parents should see that this is what's going to help their kids grow in their sport if they're going to stick with it.
Yeah, you were able to hawk down running backs from behind, from Union, McIntosh, Griffin. I mean, these schools got some fast kids. You were also second state in sacks your senior year.
20 something, I think, 2021. I don't know.
And so not only did you have the physical, you were, I guarantee you, no one in the country could bench 4 or 5 twice at same body weight. No one could out jump you because you were already awarded the highest vertical jump kid in the country. You were also extremely fast. What was your best 10-yard time? Remember, was it 158? You get down to 155?
I think it was 158 or 159.
Yeah, so that was all complete hand laser finish. You know, I think I hate it saying numbers like this sometimes because people don't realize what a fast number is. You know, you get they'll come here and say, hey, I run a 4.8 and put them on laser. They run a 5.2.
So I thought I was running like a 4.8, 4.7, whatever I was running. I got on when you first got that, and me and Johnny were over there, and we tried the hand time. I didn't even want to do it anymore because that's how bad I was with it. I got like a 5.25, so I don't want to run with this.
Yeah, nobody, and I had a lot of flash because we were clocking you even with when I was standing at the end of the gym over there. I had that little thing, but I started it myself, so there's some human error. But the lasers would pick you up as you went. But once we put that block on the ground and you started running with that, your time went from a 4.8 to what, a 5.2, you said?
Yeah, something like that.
It was pretty bad. I've even had kids come here and say, I run a 4.8, they run a 5.1. And they say, no, Jared, that's not right. Well, I think...
You can't argue with it.
No, but it transferred to when you went to the Nike thing.
Because that's exactly how he did it there. I ran a 4.61 then.
Yeah, and so that was... And you were running a 4.6 here on the laser in here too. You know, because we couldn't figure out for years. The first year you went there and...
it was terrible. It was like... I was like a 4.97.
And you was running 4.8s and 4.7s in the gym.
Yeah.
And I thought Nike was lying, so I said, look, I'm gonna go buy this complete laser system because if you run slower there than you do here, I know they're lying. And what kind of made me question all that is, how many times did they make you do a vertical jump? I mean, you and Kyle
like
both were above 40.
They took me, I jumped twice. They said, come over here and jump.
And they got other people to come watch you.
Yeah.
They couldn't
That's
believe.
I think that's when I saw the guy from Arabia Mountain. Right after that, he came and he was talking to me too. Like, there was just a bunch of people over there talking to me, telling me to jump again.
Yeah,
until it just plateaued. Like, all right.
Yeah, they were trying to. Colton was so good at those combine drills that we had other schools in the state of Georgia trying to get Colton to come play for them. And I think that's a big problem. Is Colton, you were a defensive end in high school, and with recruiting purposes, and this is kind of really aggravating for me with coaches. Second state sacks, highest vertical jump kid in the country, one of the strongest kids in the country, if not the strongest kid. I guarantee he is the strongest, and I can put a lot of money down if anybody wants to beat me because it pisses me off. One of the most physical, great motor. Look at the highlight cam. You can still check out Coltin Houser on Huddle, Coltin, Houser, Houser on Huddle. Look at his highlight film. But there were schools, you were going to be recruited as a linebacker, right?
Everybody that talked to me said outside linebacker.
Yeah, and but they wanted to see him, how he didn't cover. They want to see his change of direction and things like that. But the high school coach would not play him at linebacker. We even asked. And you kind of came to the gym one day and cussed me out because I sent the head coach of the school, even in the scrimmage games or even in non-region games, could you just throw him at linebacker just for a few plays? I'm not asking you to change his position for your team. I'm just asking just get a few films. So you had Washington State, Ohio State. Colton was also the fastest linebacker at the Michigan camp. You had Ole Miss. South Carolina was on the radar.
Oklahoma's coach talked to me.
Oklahoma, and we had Ball State. Who else?
A bunch of smaller schools, Coastal Carolina, Troy.
But they all wanted the same, and so I said, look, these are the schools that are looking at him. They just want to see him cover a little bit. You know, could you play him at linebacker? And you came to the gym, you cussed me out. You said, never talk to my coach again, because he called you out in front of the team, made you feel kind of, didn't he?
Yeah. In the huddle and in practice, I don't even remember what he said, but it was.
Yeah, I mean, he came to me pissed, but look, a coach needs to help somebody. You know, if you got a kid, I mean, local high school coach here didn't give a crap if Colton went on to play or not. He just wanted to be selfish. I know a lot of these people around here don't care for me a whole lot, but I ain't never done anything to them. All I do is make athletes. You know, okay, let's get on this, making athletes. I talked to Ben Baggett, and I need to get Ben Baggett. He said, Jared, I was not born this way, I was built. You know, you didn't come out, you know, everybody says genetics. I had you.
That's why I hate when people say that, because if I didn't start working out, I'd be a twig. I wouldn't even. No, that's nothing about it, genetics.
It's about the training, and I think people think we squat here. Yeah, they squat at school, but Colton also broke the freshman record. You squatted 440 as a freshman and broke the high school record. You know, he's like he just said. He's only 19 years old and he's been doing it for 11 years. Anybody with 11 years of training, if the training's directed in the right direction, they're going to be physical freaks. And I think that's what people have got to realize is
it's a time commitment.
Yeah, and you said it best earlier, is consistency. You were here during the season. You had to be here when you was little, whether you wanted to or not.
Yeah, because even if you're coming,
and you're going through the actions, even if the actions are half-assed.
All the time, like if you're coming year round, like not year round, but if you come for half the year and then you get a season and you stop coming, you're just gonna go back to where you were, because there's nothing to build off of, because you didn't build anything to begin with.
Yeah,
it's
like
just natural. Yeah,
you came out of season running the same thing. Usually, sometimes when people are running their 40s, most people that I test, and I test every month, I test over 240s a month. And I've been testing 40s consistently for 8 years. Guarantee you there's no one else in this country that tests 240s per month on a consistent basis like I do. We got a lot of athletes in here. And for those who don't know, Explosive Mechanics is run by me. I don't have extra employees doing this stuff. I'm doing it. I'm seeing these numbers. I'm being the one out there repeating this stuff over. I'm the one writing the programs. I don't have coaches under me writing stuff. I know everything about every individual that comes in this gym. You know, I said, and then if you got a parent that calls and wants to know about an athlete, I'm going to be able to tell you an athlete. And I test these vertical jumps. I test 40s, vertical jumps, broad jumps. I test all these numbers and I see what different things affect them. And just like the other day, I had a kid, he ran the day before, and people don't know this. If you run the day before you do a 40-yard dash, your 40-yard dash is going to suffer 1 to 2 tenths of a second. Guaranteed. I had this kid, he ran a 5.3 last month. Came in 8 tests and he ran a 5.5. And his squat went up and his vertical went up, and I saw that he ran a 5.5, and I made him do it again. I made him do it again. The third time he ran a 5.6. And so I said, he looked at me, I said, what did you do yesterday? I had soccer practice. I said, that's the problem. I said, you can't go do or have soccer practice come in here next day and run. And Bryce Johnson, years ago, did the same thing. He was supposed to run in the 4s for his 40-yard dash. He comes in running a 5.3. I said, and he was at a 5 flat the month before. I said, Bryce, what the hell did you do? I was out in the yard practicing my 40. I said, for what? He said, you can't do that the day before. So I told Bryce, and I told that kid that ran up 5.5, I said, look, the day before you come test, don't do anything. So I retested the other kid, and he ran a 5.2. So he got better, but it didn't show because he did something before. Bryce, then he ran a 4.9 from a 5. He went, geez, he ran a 5.3, he ran a 4.9. It depends on what you do the day before. You see these idiots in the hotel running and practicing your 10s. I didn't let you do anything. Zach Lasky, he was 230 pounds, and he ran a 4.55 and a 4.5 flat for his pro day, and we didn't do anything 3 days prior. Do you remember stuff like that? You tested? Well, let's get on this subject real quick. We're gonna come back to that. You were talking about being consistent. You're one of the few people to come at the end of football season running the same speed as you did going in. The reason I'm trying to get off on all these rants is that most people will leave not come during season, and they drop into the 3/10 of a second off their 40-yard dash.
And they come back and wonder why they were.
And they think, hey, it's because they were not consistent. Like Mike Muska went from a 4.8 to a 5.2. He lost 0.4 of a second during football season because he was not consistent his last year, and he was trying to get ready to go play football at Mercer. You came out fast, or as you did going in, because if you wouldn't have been training, you could have went backwards. It's very hard to get the speed to move during season. At least it's not going backwards. So at least when you're done, like even Taylor, he dropped 0.2 of a second off his 40-yard dash, and he didn't come during football season. He went from a 4.7 to a 4.9, which he started off last year at a 5.2, so at least we're better than we were last year. So we're trying to get, if you can stay consistent like Coltin said, and then out of season, now you're not spending, it usually takes 1 month to fix 1/10 of a second. So usually here at the gym, I can average 1/10 of a second on the 40-yard dash per month that you're here. And so if Coltin comes out of season and he's already high end, if we're trying to increase his body weight and he's running a 4.7, we got to increase his body weight from, I think you came out of season that junior year at 180, we got up to what, 205?
By the time I started senior year, I was almost, I was pushing 220.
And so then we was able to get faster. What did you came out at 280, 180? Where'd you come?
185, maybe. Somewhere between 180 and 190.
So
before I went into senior season, some days I would be coming in weighing myself in between 220 and 225. But that's the heaviest I got. That was rare, but it was usually up like 218, 219.
Okay, so yeah, I didn't realize. So you gained 40 pounds, you jumped higher, and you ran faster. You know, most people will lose weight, still can't even run faster. There's
a lot of that was that. The weight gain was me going to. Well, I didn't really run a lot because my knee was messed up. But going to workouts every day over the summer at 9 in the morning, football, doing conditioning after, which I would just jog, leaving, getting maybe 4 or 5 sandwiches from McDonald's, eating that, coming here, working out again, and that was every day. And then just whatever else I do for the rest of the day, eat out 2 more times.
Yeah, 220 with a 6-pack.
But working out two times a day in conditioning, but eating out for every meal.
Yeah, so we didn't have your diet dialed in perfect, and I made you drink shakes all the time, whether you wanted to or not.
Yeah,
but
I think it was when I got here every day to drink shake.
Yeah, I made the stuff for him so he didn't have to really think about it, because that's kind of annoying having to go would pack his lunch. And some days when I was lazy, if I didn't do it, you actually did it yourself. You were really good in middle school about going down and using the blender and making your own shakes. Remember that?
Yeah.
But like I said, being consistent like you were able to come out of season at the same speed going into season. You didn't lose any time. So these kids coming back in season 0.2 of a second worse, we're spending 2 months sometimes getting them back to where they were. Then if I only have them January to May, I actually only have 3 months to get better, not 5. Because we got to get back to where we were.
That's like you have to make it a priority, because most people will get out of practice. They go home and shower and eat and lay in bed. But if it's during football season and you're going to football practice, what else are you really going to do with the rest of your day after you get late? You can go get another hour of working out. It's not physically demanding as football practice.
But the way I balanced, I didn't always, you probably just did some jumps, but you didn't do a full workouts, did you? Or did you do everything?
I would come in here and I wouldn't do a lot of auxiliaries, but I would bench, squat, whatever you would give me that day.
Get the main stuff done and go home.
Just do the main stuff and leave, because I was already having to do these workouts at school, which didn't really do anything.
Yeah, basically getting your accessory work at school, because they don't know how to program.
Everything was 4 sets of 10, every single thing.
Yeah, that's the thing about
and superset, not even superset. You do from one thing to another to the next, and you restart all 4 sets of 10. Yeah, that's the thing about high school lifting, is they're doing something that they saw in some book somewhere without an education at all on lifting. If Colton's doing 4 sets of 10, he's getting hypertrophy work there, and we're getting speed and power here. Anything over 6 reps will hinder strength development.
You know, and I think these coaches wonder why a lot of these people don't even care for me. What happens is if me and Colton's in weight training, I'm benching 205, Colton's benching 205, then at the end of the semester I'm 300, he's only 225. Guess what? He's going to wonder where I'm going because no one wants to be weak. And so these people that are coming in, getting advanced lifting and speed and power, I'm testing results all the time. We had to test whether y'all wanted to or not. We got to make sure the training's working. Training, the whole point of training is trying to chase a number. And if you're out there training for CrossFit and stuff like that, you may be getting in shape, but I guarantee you they're not doing performance parameter numbers. We're also the only gym in these 2 counties that we're around. We can run a full speed 40-yard dash inside. We can run our shuttles, we jump. We got over 10,000 square feet. And I think people don't even recognize how much we can actually do here. These other places around me say they do sports performance training, but they don't test anything.
Yeah, it's just such a different setup because you got
they go there to do
you
calisthenics.
have a full gym on one side, free weights, everything that you could need, and you got the other maybe third of the gym, maybe less, is turf for whatever else you want to do.
Yeah, we're sitting here actually looking at the gym right now. Over here is the weights. Over here is turf. Turf is testing. And so what we're doing is we're using the gym area as kind of the science lab. We're over here working. Then we're going to go over here and test. Okay. All right, that didn't happen right. So this didn't do right for Colton. So let's come back over here. Let's do a little bit more. All right, we're going to come over here testing at the end of the month. All right, that worked, but this didn't. It's always, like Colton said, it's consistent work. That way, if he gives me consistency, then we can figure out what is or what is not working in the testing. And if you're inconsistent in being here, your tests are going to show inconsistencies, and I'm not going to know if what I'm giving you is always working.
Well, there's no reason to come in and test it all if you don't come consistently for at least like a couple months. There's no reason. You can test when you get here, but then if you don't come consistently that whole month, there's no reason to test again.
Yeah, and sometimes testing's a double-edged sword because you got other kids that can't really call their name. They'll come in here and screw off for an hour, maybe do 2 or 3 things, and they'll get faster. And then you got someone over there busting their butt and doing everything here, and they're not getting better. I'm like, okay, I got to help this kid that's busting his butt, but this kid may need to do what this other kid's doing. And so it's kind of frustrating because the kid's getting better doing half work, so he really never sees why to put more effort in until it, like Colton said, until it clicks. Once it clicks, then it'll have all the tools to get it moving. But as far as your combine prep, how many days did we stay off? Did I make?
It was probably.
Before you go on to Nike.
It was on a Saturday. It was on a Sunday. So
I know we didn't do anything.
Y'all were gone somewhere.
Oh yeah, I didn't even get to go to that. I had to leave you by yourself.
Y'all were gone somewhere. So I think I had Friday off and Saturday off. I don't know if I did. I think Thursday I came in and did something light. Maybe I just came in here and did nothing. Friday I think y'all were gone. Y'all just told me to go eat something good. And then Saturday, I did it a lot better than I thought because I didn't even really sleep on Saturday.
Yeah, trying to get nervous for the combine, put so much pressure on you with that.
And I slept maybe five hours, but still jumped to almost 44 inch vertical and 4.6. I didn't do that good in 5.10.5 because it was wet.
Yeah, they don't really care if you do good or not. I knew your 5.10.5 was screwed up because yours was a 4.10 and a 4.11 really consistently on the laser. And what they do?
4.5, 4.6.
Yeah, we knew they didn't. Most people don't care. They're out there. I don't know.
But that one was on with the stopwatch.
Yeah, so they did it with stopwatch, and you ran slower, so we knew that was screwed up. I wasn't there enough to cuss them out because that really pisses me off when people screw up numbers. You know, I'm pretty passionate about those freaking numbers. The numbers matter. You know, so I just kind of wrote it off and did whatever, and just came back and just kind of got ready. After that point, we peaked as vertical. Then we started getting ready for camps. We had some hamstring trouble, didn't we?
That was.
That's kind of when we started backing down and trying to.
Nike was in March, I think. March, no. Yeah, had to be like late March 20 something, I think. And then over the summer we went wherever we went.
Yeah, we went all over. Colton was still. We went to NIU.
Yeah, that's when I ran 140. The second one, I tore my hamstring, pretty sure.
Yeah, we had some good bruising in the back of the leg, and he still.
We tried to go to.
He pulled his hamstring and still ran a 4.840. And the coach said, "Man, he's fast." And after pulling your hamstring, you still went and did a broad jump.
Right.
This was in IU, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I remember you hurt your hamstring, pulled it pretty good, and
yeah, I went through the whole. I remember that. I went through the whole camp.
Yeah, and I was
went through all the blocking and everything.
Ran through bag drills. Yeah, you spent 2 hours
outside of the field
going through drills with a hurt hamstring, and then we drove down to Virginia the next day.
I couldn't do anything.
He ran a cover out, right?
Yeah, I did.
And he came over to me and said, "Jared, I can't do it." And I was like, "Man, Colton, you got to do it."
I ran one and got embarrassed. I couldn't. If I did that, it would look terrible.
Yeah, so he was scared to look bad, but he came to me and said, "I can't do it." And I said, "You got to do it." And so but at that point in time, I knew he was in pretty good pain. So we just basically went and talked to the coaches, told them what was going on, and they don't care. I think that's the biggest thing. Coaches don't really understand. Colton's arms are not that big. Did you ever measure your arms?
No, I don't even know.
I think sometimes
it's like the kid at Clemson. When I went there for 3 days, we got put into groups by like numbers or letters. He was in my group, and his arms were probably twice my size. And at that point, I was benching probably like
385 maybe.
385 up there. It was sophomore year thing. Sophomore summer. So his arms were about twice the size of mine. I asked him how much he benched. He said like 225. But the coaches were all over him. I was over there like.
Yeah, they passed the eye test, and what was so frustrating about these stupid college coaches and things like that is if he don't have 18-inch arms, they'll pass him by. But his motor's a lot better. He's a lot more physical, can perform a lot better, and that kid, bench at 225, don't have the strength to protect himself on the football field. And so you got Colton smaller, but yet stronger and faster. That's another frustrating thing. He's not passing the eye test, so to speak, but it's just like a hidden Porsche. He's got all the power and everything he needs, but you're just too stupid to see what's under the hood. And so that's been frustrating. This recruiting thing was really frustrating, wasn't it?
That's the reason I didn't even play football.
Yeah, Colton didn't go on to college playing football. But because of that stuff,
they would I would have coaches hit me up weekly or come to the school and see me, whatever, and call me, ask for my number so they'd call me almost nearly every other day or every day for a certain select period of time through late junior year and senior year. And it started off with, I think, Washington State was the biggest one. He would consistently message me, and he came to the school. I said, you can call me up to the office. He said, no. What's your head coach's name? 15 minutes later, he said, all right, we're all good. I'll talk to you later.
Never talked to you again. Did he?
He sent me one picture
of the facility.
Just of a graphic picture of their schedule or whatever, and that was it. I responded back to him. Never hit me up again. Nevada, email back and forth. We want you to come out for an official visit. All right, do this. All right, we're going to move back to this day. All right, that's fine, whatever. Nothing after that. Ball State came here.
Came actually to the gym.
Talked to me.
He was trying to size up Colton, got a picture. This is kind of what really made me understand what they're looking at as they're looking at eye test. The coach that came here wanted me to take a picture of him and Colton together. And I guess they're looking at the body size or whatever.
He came for probably like hour and a half, 2 hours just talking.
Mm-hmm.
He said at the end when we were done talking, all right, we need to do official visit, whatever.
Yeah, this guy
week,
called. He hit you up on.
I mean, on Twitter, and then I got his number, and then I called him.
He hit you up on Friday, and he was here Monday. It happened real quick.
Yeah, but he was leaving. He said, "Yeah, we want to do an official visit next week. Think about it, whatever. Let me know." Let him know. He said, "All right, we're gonna move it back. We can't do it this week. Nothing else." All these other coaches online. Hey, you know, what's your recruiting look like? Send them a big detailed message. They read it, don't respond. Somebody sends me, like Purdue coach hit me up
Yeah, I remember that.
and said, whatever, hey, what's recruiting looking like? I told him. And then he's just like, well, what do you think about walking on here? It's like,
No.
not really what I'm looking for. It was just all this, it's just showing a spark of interest and then
Dropping you.
going like ghost and just not talking to you. And that's what was frustrating, so I was just done with it.
Yeah.
Even coaches that would come to the school, they would talk to me and tell me they wanted me to come to the campus, whatever. Like,
And I talked to you again.
it's just annoying.
Yeah, and you can see definitely clear on film that you can play, that you had all the physical ability, and these people piss me off if you can bench and squat, but you can't play football. Well, it's not your job. My job to teach you how to play football. It's the coach's job, and I think coaches do a very poor job of teaching skill nowadays.
It really depends on the coach you get, how much they actually care about
what they're doing, or is it you? Or, yeah,
They'll
explain
pick-
that to me. Yeah.
Like my position coach, he played it shorter. And so he loved me. He would take me aside, tell me everything he knew. He would teach me everything. And the younger kids were just clueless. He could literally tell them 3 times in a row, hey, that's wrong, do this. And they would do the same thing over and over. And those are the kind of kids that don't get coached because they're not coachable. It's just they'll coach you if you're coachable. You have to learn how to be coachable because you can't come in there and have no idea what to do. These kids, you literally tell them the most simple thing to fix. No, don't do that. Do this. And they come off and do the same exact thing again. You can tell he's frustrated. All right, no, don't do that. I need you to do this. Same thing again. He's like, all right, next person. It's a waste of time because they only have so much time.
What do you think's their limiting factor? You think they don't have the physical? You have the physical ability to do whatever you want to. You think some of them didn't have the physical ability, or you think they just were kind of
a lot of kids
dense? Because you've been around. I'm not really.
A lot of the younger kids didn't have any physical ability. They weren't strong. That's why the class that I was in, the one below us a little bit, would be the last. My class was the last. To me, like really good class they had there because they might have some athletic kids that can be quick or whatever. Nobody's really strong. Most of them are really uncoordinated, just not athletes.
Do you think the lifting helped your coordination? You're kind
I
of
think
funny.
over
You're kind of
time,
funny running when you was little.
When I was in middle school, I looked really weird running, and everyone told me that, but I was still faster than most people, so I didn't really care. But when it was just, especially early in high school and stuff, I just grew. I was still growing, so it was just awkward. I wasn't really coordinated because I grew into my body. I didn't grow into my body yet, so I was clumsy. But I don't know, I think it just happened over time, coordination. Because people still tell me like, "Oh, you're really uncoordinated," and it's like, no, I'm not. Like, I used to be super uncoordinated, but now it's like, I don't know, like I can go up, catch an alley-oop, do whatever. Like,
Yeah,
I can catch a football like one-handed, no
behind your back
problem,
and all that
like,
stuff.
whatever. Like,
Yeah, and you cut, change direction.
Yeah.
You're an athlete. You played basketball, rec basketball, didn't play for the school. So that's what he did. Stay in shape a little bit because we didn't do a lot of running at the gym. We never really ran a whole lot to get you faster, did we?
All we ran was 40s pretty much.
That was just a test. We're gonna run them once a month, maybe twice in a week, maybe 4, 5 total 40s a month. And that's just basically a test week to see the way it's kind of structured here is the first 3 weeks of the month are grind time. Last week's kind of a deload test week, and we'll start next month over doing the same thing over and over again. But the physical development for you, you're always able to bench, but we didn't really drive for your numbers after your senior season's done because we just focused on recruiting, right?
Yeah, it was just more of like a relaxed, come in here.
Didn't have much pressure. The only pressure was coming from these coaches trying to recruit you and stuff like that.
I wasn't worried about working out as much as football side of everything. So I was, whenever coaches would contact me, that's what I was focused on. I mean, I would come in here and do quick little workouts, but then just kind of go do whatever.
Yeah, during your senior year, you still came in and still lifted a little, enough to keep stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, you just it's just like a routine. Like, even though I'm not really gonna do a lot, I'm gonna come here and do something.
Yeah.
Find something to do. Even if I don't want to do a full workout, it's gonna be something for the day.
Yeah, that's the consistent effort.
Because
And Spieka came during football season too. A lot of the people that did go off to college and stuff came a lot during the season. I mean, you're talking still 8 times a month. But a lot of these kids will quit, not come back. And then when they do come back, the numbers are worse and they quit. No one wants to fight the grind to get the numbers back to where they were. I had a kid one time go from a 350 to a 280 bench for Dublin. But he still fought and went back up. But then you've had other kids in the years past, if they lost 15 pounds off their bench, they wouldn't come back because they didn't want to fight to get it back to where it was, or they had a bad 40. I think Mikey went from a 4.8 to a 5.2, maybe I think it was a 5.2, but then he worked it back down to a 4.8 before he went off to Mercer. I mean, people like him and the other people that had come back with bad numbers worked to get them back to where they were, but then they got to stay long enough to get them past that sticking point to where they got to get better. But I think you're really unique in the form of being able to gain weight and get faster and jump higher and still keep your mobility.
that's just consistency with working out while eating as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, consistent eating too. That's the worst part, ain't it?
I mean, not if you just. Well, my thing was I just ate whatever, so it wasn't really bad. I wasn't focused on eating good food because I knew.
You had to get calories in, yeah.
It didn't matter. I was eating McDonald's and Wendy's and like going to buffets, whatever. Just
Yeah,
eating
wing night has
as
a lot
I
in it.
could. Yeah, just anything to eat, stuff that's gonna make me gain weight because I knew that I have a fast metabolism. I'm gonna come in and work out 2 or 3 times the next day anyway. It's fine because you're still gonna gain weight, even if it's bad weight, whatever.
Yeah, just still able to hold your own and have good times with that. What would you tell the young kids? Just be consistent.
That's the biggest thing, just consistency. Actually know where you want to go with it. You can't just come in here and do it. No matter how young you are, like even I wish I would have had goals when I was younger because I'd be even better than I was when I was at my best moments. Like it would have been even better if I would have been younger, 10, 11 years old and actually had a direction and goals where I wanted to go. You have to evaluate where you're at and know what direction you want to go. No matter what it is, you can pick one specific thing. I want to bench whatever. I want to squat this. I want to run this. I want to lose this much time off my 40. Whatever it is, like just have different things that you want to work toward. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have a goal, you're gonna not give 100% effort.
Do you think one thing drives another? Like you said, you cared about your bench, and so you started getting your bench up, and then
I think it's just for me I saw that I was always consistent with my bench. I would always come in here and do whatever on bench, but I wouldn't do that with squat. So when I started putting that time in the squat and actually being excited to come in on squad day, then that's when my numbers started shooting up really fast, because you just have to. It's consistency, but it's also the effort you give. Because you can be consistent with it, and it won't go anywhere. But I think really you have to realize what all your consistency and your effort is going into. Because that's what I realized with bench. And when I started doing that squat, that's when that shot up too.
But do you think you were older when you realized that? Because when you were younger,
that was probably after I was probably 16 or 17 years old when I realized that whole principle.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it. That's what I never thought of.
Do you think that's why you had to be here? That's why people's got to be here so long first before it clicks?
Yeah, because you see, even like.
Because when you're young and you first start, you can get better.
You can come in. This just bothers me with like high schoolers coming here, and they don't even take it serious. Like,
they don't know what they're getting, do they?
No, just because if you know, it's like, I mean, it's corny or whatever. You have to buy into it because it's really like this is so much different than anything else you're going to be paying for in terms of like training.
Yeah, real
You're
training.
not gonna,
That's kind of crazy. You kind of say buy in, but you don't really realize what that means as a young kid.
it's just, it's not even in terms of like paying for it. It's like mentally you have to know that like you're coming here for a reason, and this is probably
Why?
the best place to come. Especially you got a degree in exercise science, but you probably put hundreds of hours into reading and just learning aside from school, just on your own time, building your knowledge. So at the end of the day, like people can go get a degree in whatever, or say, oh, I know this, whatever, and put a degree up on the wall, but they don't. It'll stop right there for them. And you have all this extra knowledge. I'm gonna ask you a question. Hey, Jared, what do I need to do for this? Why is this hurting? Whatever. You open up a book. Go to the page number. It's already highlighted. Here you go. Read this. Like just, you'll know exactly what book to pick off the shelf.
That helps a lot too, huh? Because I think I've tried to get you and your brothers to read. Because I think if you can read and understand, or it helps us strike up a conversation as to why. And then if you can read it, and sometimes I'm not the best person in explaining stuff, and you read, oh, then it makes sense, or if someone else explains it to you. But I think that as far as y'all being the brothers and me being y'all's dad, it's kind of like y'all have always done a good job of listening. Then you come and ask questions where like some of these kids coming at their parents saying, I'm trying to tell little Johnny to go do this, and he ain't gonna listen, but he'll listen to you. And so I think that y'all did a real. Cody was a little hard-headed at first. I had to almost beat him with a stopwatch while he was on the tread sled because he would tell me to shut up. So, but you and Kyle never really did that. And y'all just kind of worked. But did y'all always work against each other too? You was always trying to beat him, and he was always trying to beat you. What's kind of funny is you started off powerlifting, and Kyle didn't want to lift to save his life. Then as you got older, you didn't want to lift, and he wanted to lift.
I didn't want to do the competitions. I wanted to be strong. I didn't want to play.
This is you didn't even recognize you had a record here on the board,
It
did you?
was like 380 squat, 280 bench.
What? Yeah, that was I can even read the dates on them. Yeah,
That was probably the 2000.
13, 14 years
Probably
old.
2014 or 2015. Because I know that was when I was either in 9th grade or 10th grade.
Yeah, that 281 competition bench was 2014. What year was that? Was that ninth grade?
My 9th grade year.
As
That's when I started just saying I'm done with competitions, because we left at 4 or 5 in the morning, got back at like midnight, and I don't want to do that, so I just wanted to work out.
yeah, these competition benches are a lot different than sometimes the benches in the gym. I let them get their butts off the bench and things like that here at the gym when they bench. It's not always technically perfect. I think once you let their hips and their butt come off the bench, or you let them cheat, there's forms of cheating that actually help you improve your performance. And some people are so, what I call technique Nazis, they want to be perfect all the time. Well, sometimes you got to be imperfect to get better, And so if by letting hips and stuff come off the bench, you're actually helping keep stress off the shoulders, and they're also developing an arc. So once you get if their butt bench comes off the bench and they start cheating with the bench, you drive them to a 315 bench, then you go back and you clean it up to like more of a lifting style bench, like what we did with you. Then your clean bench then gets to 315. It's almost like the future method that Westside Barbell talks about. Is you get your cheat bench up as high as you can, then you go back and clean it up. Once you get it cleaned up, then you cheat again, you come back and clean it up. You kind of keep stepping forward and back until you get from point A to point B. And I didn't even realize that if you knew that's what we did, like people, you're an athlete, you're not a competitive lifter, and that's what you said, you just wanted to be strong.
Yeah.
And so people will criticize, hey, that's
why I didn't care. People, I benched 450 and people were on there like, oh, that's terrible, whatever. Like,
yeah, you know what?
Okay.
But the weak people will always criticize the strong. The strong people will get hate.
They're trying to figure out what's wrong with it to make themselves feel better.
Yeah, because they can't even lift the bar. Like you said, those people.
That's why I'll go look. People that would comment. I didn't really like to look at them that much.
Yeah, they got like 3 followers.
But I would
so they're internet trolls.
Power lifter, whatever, and they'll have the total on there, and it's just not good.
Yeah, your curl's probably higher than their total.
It's just people, they don't have anything better to do. But then you see other people that are like, wow, that's crazy.
People appreciate strength, Another thing, we never, for those we don't squat, you never squat with a belt in the gym either, do you? Never squatted with a belt.
The only time I used a belt
was competition?
It was competition, and when I had to do it at the school for my freshman year for that record.
Yeah,
other than that, I don't like it.
Yeah, we don't use these goobers using knee wraps, belts, suiting up to work out in the gym. We come in like we are and we lift. If you can't walk in off the street with some weights, you got to get suited up with some elbow sleeves, some knee wraps, knee sleeves, and a belt.
The only thing I'll ever use is a wrist wrap.
Yeah.
Because it's the only thing that ever hurts.
Yeah, so protect if it hurts, but if it don't hurt.
Yeah, I'm only using like one wrist because one wrist hurts. That's on select days. They don't ever put anything or use anything. Like I'm squatting, it's just a bar and no shoes. That's it.
What do you think? Do you think the Tendo helps you out with your squats? What do you think
that started to.
That helps you get over some barriers.
You put me and Johnny on the what's that bar called?
The safety squat bar.
You put us on that with the Tendo unit. Had us over there every squat day doing that. And
is that kind of you first remembering the Tendo unit?
Yeah, that was when I wouldn't say I started taking squatting serious then because I still hated it. But
why'd you hate it?
It's just not
the pressure
fun.
on your back and stand up with some weight.
Feel good, especially after I popped my rib out of place. I didn't
that
like
happens a lot here.
But that's probably it. Definitely helps because you think that you're doing good on squats, but once you really see, if you go through like you were just doing another normal set and not looking at the Tendo unit, but you got the Tendo unit hooked up, it's gonna be like wow, because I would do sets where you could tell when you do it you're trying harder because you think you're giving a full effort until you really see how fast you're moving it up, and you realize like okay, maybe I can try a little harder. Maybe I can get that next number up.
Yeah, it almost became a game, didn't it?
Yeah, just because there's always. To me, it was like you can always go higher than what you just got. Mm-hmm. Until we got to the point where you're trying so hard and you cannot beat that number, and that's how squatting should be. I don't think you can really. There's not really unless you. I don't know how you would even do that on bench unless you put the thing above you, but. Squats is just like if you have that in front of you and you're focused on that and you're just looking at that one number every rep you do, that's going to drive you to do better the next one. If you get worse, you're like, all right, you get above that one. Like it's just every time you got to be better than the last time.
Yeah, that's pretty cool that you said that. The new Tendo units, maybe if your mom will let me buy some more, they're magnetic.
Instead of on top of the rack.
So now you can put them on top of the rack. That'd be pretty cool. The peak power is also associated with throwing velocity. So if you increase your bench press, I had a softball team last year increase their bench 7 miles. I mean not 7 miles, throwing speed 7 miles an hour just by benching. No throwing specifics at all, and I think that's the key part. Is that these people just want to work on their skill. They want to say baseball or softball year round.
Everything revolves around strength, though.
Yeah, that's
with sports. Like you play soccer, you get stronger. You're gonna kick the ball harder, better.
yeah. No one wanted to mess with Skowski on the soccer field
He
because
gave a kid that went to Stars and on my grade. He gave him a concussion because he
kicked
kicked the ball, hit him in the head, and it gave him a really bad concussion. His mom was like freaking out. I wasn't there, but everybody was talking about it.
Yeah, and Skowski now plays linebacker at Clemson, and so you got a Clemson linebacker playing soccer with a 4.6, 4.7 speed at 240 pounds with a 40-inch vertical. No one wants to mess with anybody like that. You know, you could have played soccer too, but you didn't really grow up with that skill set. I think it's got to be developed into you. You know,
That's what if Skowski would have came here. Because when he came here, what?
6th and 7th grade, his mom and dad pulled him out.
If he would have kept coming the whole time,
Yeah, I'm gonna
he
get
would have been the meanest athlete I've ever seen in my life. Because he came back for what, like a year or two at the end of high school?
Yeah, he came back all the way through his junior and senior year, last 2 years of high school. We missed 8, 9, and 10. We missed 3 years.
That all the way through that. He probably.
Yeah, his numbers, because he started when he was in 6th grade, and so his numbers were pretty. That's a naturally born athlete.
Yeah,
You had,
he came in and he was already good. Pretty good. He's just an athlete.
yeah, then we
He's
just had
one
to
of those
find.
people that don't have to work out, and they just have all that talent and stuff.
And you worked for it, but you got the physical ability to do it all too. You know, you just because you're not a natural born athlete, you weren't naturally born, but
I never even.
But you were really good.
I don't think I ever played sports.
No, I tried to get y'all to play. I tried to get you to play golf. Y'all play a little bit in the yard, but
I played.
Kyle get beat. Didn't want to go inside and quit.
I played t-ball. That's it. 1 year, I think. That's the only sport I ever played before I started working out. I was my super young, and I just never did it again.
Yeah, but you've been around a lot of great people. We've had people in here that go to Penn State, Clemson, Samford, Georgia Tech. I can't even see all the flags in there. Those are ones that pop up. And some of the freshmen, we've had kids go there that you're clearly better than.
It's just, I don't even know. I don't understand. I will never understand how recruiting works. It's just.
It's ridiculous.
I don't get because it has nothing to do. It clearly has nothing to do with skill, from what I can tell. I was one of them. I was
The most
what
skilled
I
person.
believe the most talented football player, at least at my school, maybe in the county.
You were a second. No, you were a defensive player of the year. Which state was it? You was defensive player of the year or something in the state.
I don't know. I got defensive MVP my team. I don't know about the state.
Yeah, some of that.
I got all state something. I don't know.
And still, these retarded coaches couldn't pick up on that. I don't know.
I just don't. I will never get how they do recruiting because you don't. It's not necessary to pay to go to all these camps and be trained by these people and all that.
Yeah, because you were the fastest linebacker at Michigan camp. We spent all that money flying to Michigan. We spent all the money flying to NIU. You know what, people? I think a lot of these camps that you're sending these kids to, I wouldn't travel very far. I would go to a local camp. Maybe should have went to Mercer where all those schools were there. I wouldn't spend a lot of money going from camp to camp to camp because all those people want is your dollar.
Yeah,
They're trying to. The more people they get, so if you get,
the coaches get a bigger payday.
yeah.
It's not.
So all those kids that are going to those camps, if we're paying whatever we're paying to go to those camps, and all those other kids are all through camp season, which is during summer for these colleges, all that money that you pay at school gets, some of it goes to school, a lot of it gets split up between all those coaches. So they're trying to get as many kids to come to those camps as they can so they get a better better paycheck, not really caring, hey, we got to just go do this camp so we can get it over with. And sometimes they don't care. They're just trying to get in, get out, just like a normal day at work. You know, it's not really a helping day at work. It's kind of come in and get out. Yeah, because you still performed well at the camp. Performed even when you were hurt.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, the coaches will try to help you with camps, but
What do you think the best camp you went to as far as good information someone helped you?
I don't know.
Your favorite was probably Michigan when you far ball and all that stuff, huh?
Yeah, I think they didn't really teach me that much though.
Yeah. Did you learn anything?
Their defensive coordinator was. If he told you to do something, you messed up. He was a mean dude. I didn't like him. I would not like to play for him.
Yeah, if you messed up, I think it's his job. And if you're a high school, you don't know their offense or you don't know their defense. And I think sometimes these coaches are impatient. I think when they're recruiting people, if you're not already good at it, they don't want you because they can't teach you. I'd rather take someone that's bad and make them physically develop.
I think my favorite camp was probably Clemson, just because
we should have went back there again. We should have went to the Clemson. Start going where you know people, I guess.
That was just the environment and the people. They would bring the players out there too and have them coach you.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was nobody was really like rude to you. Like I went to Michigan, and the coach was just not a nice dude. You mess up, and he's just all over you, whatever. Clemson, they were like, which I think it should be a balance, but they would build you up. They don't even know you. They're really nice to you. They split us all these groups and create all these little competitions for us. Like we had either flag football or a touch football, like teams of 6 or 7, like tournament at the end of the whole camp. And it's all this stuff, like meeting Dabo. He was the nicest coach I've ever met in my life. My favorite coach that I've met personally. Great guy. I mean, just their staff, you could tell that they care about all their players and everyone on the staff. Like they had a kid. The kid had his dad or somebody in his family passed away. All the coaches drove like a little small town with one stoplight, one intersection, whatever. All the coaches came down there to see his family.
And that's caring.
And that's just the best environment that you can put a football player in, because you can tell that it's actually a family. So if I got a scholarship, if I would have got a scholarship from there, I would have went to play there, because that's definitely the school that I went to that you can tell they're going to care about you as a player and take care of you and actually build you. They would even just in those 3 days, they try to build you as a player, but also as a person, teaching you like morals and stuff. Like it's just great people there. I don't know.
But Dabo, you said, and he's just like he is on TV, huh?
Yeah, I read the other day, he was at the college football awards or whatever it was the other day. They were surprised. He stopped on the carpet going in, whatever, talking to somebody, and they were like freaking out because he was still talking to people out there, and then it was about to start, like 5 minutes before it started. Mm-hmm. Like he's just a great guy. He's a nice dude.
That's pretty cool. I didn't even realize, sometimes when you're younger, I ask you these questions like, oh, whatever, camp. Now I think when you get older, you kind of recognize different things, don't you?
Yeah, I realized that when I was there, but I didn't even think about it. He was just, out of all the coaches that I've met at least, he was the nicest.
And they've been pretty successful.
Yeah.
Scout's got a national championship. I hope they beat Alabama. I do hate Alabama. For those who do not know, I do not like Alabama. I don't know. I never liked Alabama, and I don't like Alabama. I'm not going to make me like Alabama. I just don't like Alabama. Enough on Alabama because I don't like Alabama. Geez, I don't know. We've covered quite a bit. We never really deadlifted you, though. You hate
tried to tell me to deadlift.
Yeah, deadlift.
I got to like 500. That was all right with me.
You didn't really try to push it.
I should have deadlifted, but
Yeah, not too fun, huh?
no.
We didn't power clean at all, though. As your vertical jump went up, we never power cleaned.
No, I wasn't. I mean, I could do it. I could throw up like 300
300,
in school, so I wasn't worried about that.
Yeah, Colton clean 300 and never worked on it. Strength's important. That's why people
Not
don't fight
even- I
bears.
haven't- You were trying to fix my form in here when I had terrible form, but I just threw it up. Like, it's not even. I didn't know it was not like good form. You were trying to fix. You spent. I was in there for I don't know how long one day. You kept doing it. You were like, no, you need to like film yourself, get this right, whatever. I just didn't try it anymore.
Yeah, pointless, huh? It didn't help you with your power.
It just doesn't. I don't understand how that measures anything. It's just not.
I think it's a lift that the NSCA's kind of thrown down our throats as far as strength and conditioning things, and I think these college coaches are getting into college coaching football. As far as strength and performance, I think these sport coaches need to stay out of the strength and conditioning field and let the strength coach do their job and not worry about it as long as they're not hurting players. I think strength and conditioning coaches also need to test their programs. You know, like a lot of them, I've got kids at school all around, and they'll come back weaker and slower. And they're in strength and conditioning coaches. They're getting paid $2, $5, even $700,000 a year. And these kids' performance numbers are dropping. You know, I think that's absolutely crazy. And these kids come in, hey, Jared, I got, like I had a kid come in, here's my college packet. I actually got a collection of college packets: Tennessee, Georgia, Georgia Tech, Duke, Kentucky, Miami, Penn State. You know, Penn State even sent me theirs because they wanted me to train the kid who sent to Penn State their way. And I told the guy no. And he said, "Well, make sure he's good on power cleans." I said, "What's the point of doing power cleans if you don't create power?" I said, if the vertical jump don't go up and the broad jump don't go up, there's no point doing a power clean. It's just a wasted, stupid exercise movement. You know, I do know that you have to be forceful against weights, and that's why you put a 10 unit to a squat or you jump with dumbbells. That's being forceful against a loaded weight. What's your highest? You jumped a 30. You remember your weights? What was your best? Were you 30s or 35s? Did you ever get to a 30 with 40s?
I think with 40s, I got a 20.
No.
8, 7, 29, something. I don't know. I never got 30.
And sometimes,
Probably 35, 36, something maybe with 30s. I feel like.
yeah, I
It
know.
was.
All that.
I don't really do that much.
Yeah, I try to keep all that stuff down. I don't know. I wish I would have kept yours, and Johnny was making great strides and improvements, and I don't know what happened to some of those folders. I just threw a stack of folders away the other day about that big.
Well, the one I use for most of it, the one I have now, I made that one.
When it was what, 9th grade? That's the green one. It's got so many
Yeah.
stickers on it. It's like a book.
Yeah, I made that. I really do that one. You know, that's when I actually started working out a little bit more. But yeah, that was definitely. That's probably 9th grade, 10th grade.
So you think the tread? Did you do a lot of tread sled here and there, getting ready for Nike?
Yeah, I started. I did it for a span of weeks. At one point, I don't remember what point. It was get it ready for something. But I don't know what it was. But I definitely did it a few times a week for a while. I remember that.
Tread sled in the research shows that you'll have a 8% increase in fast twitch fibers and a decrease in slow twitch fibers by 6%. So we do that's with a 15-second all-out sprint, not necessarily a tread sled. I don't have enough room to run 15 seconds, so I have a treadmill, non-powered treadmill that times us, and it shows how far we go in 15 seconds, and the goal is to beat it the next time you come in. And so that's how we use tread sled, but we do a 15-second all-out sprint. The way I came up with that is, like Colt said earlier, I read books, so I was reading in my exercise physiology book. I didn't read my textbooks until I graduated college. I didn't take the wrapper off my anatomy book until after I was done with my anatomy classes. I did a lot of stuff backwards. And so I try to help them going forward from my mistakes. And I think I was reading one day my exercise physiology, and it said a 15-second all-out sprint had a increase in fast twitch fibers by 8% and a decrease in slow twitch fibers by 6%. I said, damn, that's what we're trying to do. And so that's how I came up with the sets of tread sled sprints. And so then hopefully I can come out with a book and then tell you about the different methods and stuff in the jump book. And that's real frustrating because I'm not really sure how to even put a book together. So people be patient with me because that's going to be a long process. Just like this podcast, I started talking about doing a podcast a year before I even got it done, trying to find like these mics, this recording thing that we're talking on. It's raining outside, so it's kind of, hopefully the sound turns out good. It's just a process, guys, and I do a lot of stuff myself. I do all this podcast myself. Colton watched me set it all up. I don't like hiring people because if I were to hire someone to do this for me and they were all of a sudden leaving me, I'm gonna be left out in the dark trying to figure it out anyway, so I might as well do it myself. That's why I don't have employees. I do. Colton's helping me out at the gym. Kyle, his brother, and Cody, his older brother, all been to the gym, helped out. Colton was actually one of the original desk workers, third grader. And so that's who helps run the gym. It's basically family. I need to know people. I need to know what's going on. I need to know what's wrong. I need to know what happens, how to fix it. I want to know everything I possibly can in order to help someone. Like Colton said, if he's hurt, if he pops a rib head out, I know what it is, and I send him to someone who knows more than I do to fix it. She's been pretty good to us too.
Yeah.
But do you remember working the desk? I'd go pick him up from elementary school. Would come to the gym. Buy Cole, sit here. He was kind of that was in a room with a little square window.
Yeah. Can of chicken.
Is that what we did? And I don't remember half this crap. Yeah, I'd sit there and you were really good as a third. You was pretty good until Alex Barr came. Remember messing with Alex Barr, the Bars, Alex and Tony.
There's all those people, all that whole Nick Petrie, Borka, all that Mitch Lane, all those people. They were the ones that messed me all the time.
Yeah, that was little third grade Colton sitting there working the desk, and these high school kids come in. I mean, talking Alex Barr, 6'7", 320. Hey, Colton, got my folder? Colton would screw with him. No. Alex tried to break down the door, but tried to drag Colton through the window because there was a door was on the back side. You couldn't really get to it, and Colton could lock it. So he was sitting there at a little window trying to pass out folders and giving them crap, hiding behind the thing and things like that, trying to make them work in. So you got this third grader telling these high school kids what to do. It's kind of funny, but it all worked out. I think there's a YouTube video of you benching 135. 12 years old?
I don't know. On that rep bench in the first time?
Yep.
Yeah,
that Forza bench, we learned as we got older, the thicker the pad, so if you see this Thompson fat pad or the Forza bench pad or some of the different benches that we have here in the gym, the thicker the pad, the easier it is to bench more weight on. And so we realized that when we go to competition, the pads are a lot thinner. And so when you have your chest arch, here in the gym it stays arched because you're able to sink into the pad and maintain the arch. But when you go to competition, first time I ever did it, my chest dropped and I couldn't figure it out. So I was repping 405 in the gym and came out of competition with a 376 bench. I was like, what the heck's going on? And so then you, Alex Yelverton, Cody, Kyle, Spieka, we'd always go to competition and come out with a less bench than we actually did in the gym. So that's when I found that old bench that University of Memphis gave me, and I set it up just like that because it's basically wood with the thin covering on it. And so once we started benching on that bench here in the gym, we'd go to competition, and our benches were actually higher in competition than we were in gym. That's just because we changed the bench, and I think a lot of people don't know the softer the pad at the bench, the more you can bench, but the less is going to transfer over to a competition. But if you're not in competition, like Colton said, it really don't matter. But if you do have kids that are competing in lifting and things like that, you need to pay attention to every detail. We also bench with Elico bars. Most people don't want to pay for those, but I will because I want to be as exact and as precise as possible. 1 millimeter difference in the bar thickness feels different in your hands, which could throw you off. So I'm trying for every advantage that I can. We have 3 Tendo units. We have 3 squat science units. I've got 7 racks, 2 competition benches, monolift. We can do a lot of stuff all at once. I'm going to get some more Tendo units because I like the way they feedback. I also talked to Tendo Sports the other day. and I know I said on one podcast that I don't record bench, and so I sent Tendo a message, and they were telling me you can actually set the stroke pattern on the Tendo unit to where it can record your bench, because our stroke pattern's on our bench. I think I pressed the bar 9-10 inches competition stroke press length. You can actually change the way the Tendo unit reads for your stroke pattern. And I know there's a lot of you out there that have asked me questions and stuff. I need to write down some questions, do another podcast. I'm sorry, it's taken me a while to get back on the podcast train, but I really wanted to get Coltin on here. He's grown up in this gym, not always liked it, but I think it's really made him a good character and really appreciates things. And I think the thing about the gym, and I kind of want to rant on this a little bit, people here, you didn't realize how good you were until you started going to competitions, these combines. You know, Coltin was, and his brothers, and a lot of people will come in here, and they'll get to 36 to 38 to even a 40-inch vertical. Like we've had 19, I think 20, I don't know, 19, 20, I have to really count. I don't think we've gotten to 20 yet. But we've had 19, I know, 40-inch vertical jumpers. And when they're seeing people in here jumping 33, 34 out there at the NFL Combine is still high.
I'm point where I think like the low 40 or 38, like average. That's like,
yeah, that's why I got a 37. I got to get to my 38, so like, I'm still average.
Like 500 pounds on squat, that's okay. 400 pounds on bench, like that's all right. Just like.
Yeah, let's talk about that. You didn't bench for a year. How long was it been since you benched? Like really started grinding on bench? Year, maybe year and a half?
A little over a year.
Yeah, and so when you came back, you wanted max because we're going to start trying to work on your numbers again.
Yeah.
What'd you bench?
I think it was 355 or 365. I think it maybe I think it was 360.
360 and not benching a little over a year.
That's terrible to me.
Yeah, 360 bench is terrible for everybody. So if you can't bench 360, you're terrible.
It's just not coming from.
Yeah, coming from where we are, I think once you see a lot of people, like, because y'all bench me, like, I'm 400 plus, you're 400 plus, Cody's been 400 plus, I think Kyle's done 400. I've had 8 or 9 high school benchers bench 400. Well, shoot, 10 now. Grayson just benched 400 this week. He's a high school junior. I'm trying to get him to bench 4 or 5 like you did as a high school junior for 2.
Yeah, but
Grayson,
I did it in I did that anywhere from definitely second. So it was anywhere from like March, April, around that time. So I mean,
he's got time.
He can definitely do that.
But he thinks a 315. Now he's so strong where he thinks 315 bench is terrible. I think once you get to a certain level, you don't realize. Like I'll be at Clayton State and those guys are struggling with 185 pounds on bench press. I'm like, I can't really even get over how you freaking struggling with 185 pounds on bench press.
That's what I don't, because I remember. I've never seen a kid like this since me, because I was in 6th grade and we did max. I went to East Cal. They wanted the max on bench. And I think this one kid did like 102 something. So I could go in there and rep 135 10 times in 6th grade, whatever. And he did I think I got 225 on bench. And he came in there, he had done 235.
Was this your 8th grade year?
That was 6th grade.
6.
So.
Oh, we're talking 235 in 6th grade, guys. So if
I came in, coach said, "Oh, hey, you got 235. You want to try to beat that?" I was like, "All right, yeah." He's like, "All right, you can do 240." So I came in there. He's like, "All right, warm up real quick." I did the bar like 5 times. From the bar, I went to 240 and did it once as a 6th grade. So that's why I just don't. That's like nothing to me. That's not.
Yeah, you.
That's why I don't think if kids would just come in here and stay consistent with it, they could do the same stuff.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing, and I was going to get back on this earlier. is you can really be whatever you want to be, right?
Yeah. You just have to work for it. It's just, you have to, that's the same thing I always say, like you have to know what you want to do. You have to know what you want.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you want, you're not going to go anywhere.
But it's fun being strong with it. Like when
Yeah,
you was in middle
it's
school,
just-
I think it really helped. You think that competition, like when you just told that story about benching 240 in 6th grade, you think that really started making you like the weights more? What do you think made you like the weights more?
It's just knowing that I'm stronger than everybody around me.
So I think you got to get strong. Once you get strong, then you don't want anybody to catch you.
Once I got to a certain point, I started working even harder because I wanted to be stronger than I was. Like,
Then you don't want anybody to catch you.
it's just,
So you think that's the point? Get the kids in here, stay consistent. Although it
you
looks,
could keep like at least a group of kids in here.
you said the little Alex girl that said hello to you the other day.
The tiny ones.
Yeah,
Short
like
ones.
look, everybody like tiny.
Yeah.
She's tiny, ain't she? She's 8 years old. That's same age you and Seymour was. What do you think she'd be like if she stayed with it?
Because she's still not really caring about it. That's how I was. But if you can get her in here and have her do some things, just working out. If she stayed in here, it'd be like Desiree, but more impressive. She wasn't consistent.
Yeah, Desiree was not consistent over
But
the
she
years.
was still stronger than most of the
Yeah, Desiree, I think, benched 205, 200 as a tennis player, everybody.
But yeah, if that girl came,
Desiree was also deadlifting double body weight at 12 years old, but they wouldn't stay consistent. I want a freak that's going to stay consistent.
if you could get somebody that young to stay consistent for throughout high school, whatever, I feel like if they play a sport,
That'd be fun to see, wouldn't it?
yeah.
If you had,
Just 'cause I can't look at all these kids in here because that's what I was saying the other day.
yeah, I
If
think
it was up to me,
half these kids would be going. I got
I would-
patience.
I don't have any patience. None of these kids would be it. Like that kid that was, you look over and he knocked over the bars. Like, he'd be gone. All these, you can watch these kids, like, just hanging out. I was watching all those kids who were doing depth jumps, and I was just sitting there watching all of them. They'd all be gone. I can't, they don't care about it. You see the one kid that had knocked over the bars, he came and did the depth jump. He jumped off, his legs barely bent, pretty much used his toes to jump up about 6 inches, and landed, and just went straight to the turf and sat down. Like,
What do you think y'all were like at that age?
probably worse. But
If I got patience with them and they have patience with me, they could be better. But some of them,
some kids just, you can see it's the same thing every day. And that's what bothers me. Like, I got to one point, I was in certain phases where I would take it more serious, but it wouldn't stay that way. Like, I remember at the second gym, there were some points where I always took working out serious, but I wasn't giving 100% effort. I just wasn't doing everything like I should have been doing it, but I knew I had to do it.
yeah, because at points I don't watch everybody all the time. Sometimes you got to kind of earn me. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go to West Side or whatever, Louis, he's not over there watching. Once you get more rise to the top, kind of like the cream rising to the top, then you get more of my attention because you work for it. You're in here, you work for this and you work for that, and you're starting to pass people. Okay, now I'm over there in your bubble, in your group, trying to help you get even higher because I know your limitations are coming closer and closer. So now we got to pay more attention to it. We got to take these little kids, and I hate this sport-specific training crap. Hey, I want to do sports. Hey, Jared, you got anything for golf? Yeah, get stronger. Hey, you got anything for soccer? Yeah, get stronger. Hey, I had a lacrosse coach come in today. Hey, Jared, you got anything, a lacrosse program? Yeah, get stronger. Well, we don't want to do powerlifting stuff. Let me tell you something. 80% of all athletic movements are built with a squat, a deadlift, some type of press, whether it's an overhead press or a bench press, and a pull-up. Those 4 movements take care of 80% of all athleticism. You get those stronger, you'll be a better athlete. Just because you get strong don't mean you can be a great athlete. You do have to have skills. So for people, I think you need to, before you're 12 years old, I think you need to play 4 or 5 different sports. You'll develop some type of motor pattern qualities and some skills from each of those sports, which will transfer later on into what you want to do. Just like I was talking to Austin Barnard, he didn't start kicking. I didn't realize this till he was a junior. Now he's in the NFL.
He's a punter, isn't he?
Yeah. And so I don't. Been here so much, you don't even realize some of these people, huh? Longoria, you remember messing with Longoria? Lasky? Who do you remember messing with the most? Alex Barr. I gotta get Alex and Tony, man. Yeah, you want to come over for a sleepover? Don't bring any clothes. Oh man, the stuff we did back in the day, I don't even know if it could be on media. But it's a pretty rough environment. I'll let y'all play whatever music you want to.
We were at the first gym. It was in the 3-6 Mafia.
That's all we listened to. Most Unknown. That album. We just had a stereo. At that time, we had CDs, so we didn't have these iPods and all that crap. We had CDs, and we played stupid CD over and over and over. 3-6 Mafia. That's kind of what the gym started with. So, is there anything else you want to cover, Colton? Pretty much talk with. Yeah. Basically, I guess everybody, the whole thing boils down to consistency. Then figure out where you want to go and drive for it. Because you can get there. You can do whatever you want to do. You just got to be consistent at it. Would you say that's true?
Yeah, have goals. I mean, I've always had people tell me that you gotta have goals and everything.
You think the gym numbers? I give you certain numbers to hit on your squat. What do you think helps people the most here?
I mean,
looking back at it, you got your folder. You're sitting here. You come in here. You got your jumps. You're starting off with a blank sticker, unless I write your squat or what I want you to bench in. What do you think it is?
I think the folder is the most. I think it's going to push people the most.
If they pay attention to their numbers.
Because you have everything on there from the past, 11 workouts you've done before the current one you're doing.
That way I can look back.
You can look back and see what you did, and then you can turn it over and you can look at your test results from any given month and kind of see what you've been doing. I think that's what pushed me, because I would look back at a lot of points and say, okay, I was running a 4.8, 4.86, whatever here, I gotta get down to a 4.7. Like, it's just gonna, if you have it's like tangible, you can see it in front of you. You can have that all that raw stuff right in front of you. I think that's gonna help you.
Then it's up to you to get better, right?
Yeah.
There's not a workout of the day written on the board, is there?
No, but you know what you've been doing. But if you see it all in front of you in one place, it's going to help you move forward from that.
Yeah, but I think you've kind of grown up in it, and you've kind of developed and matured in it to where you know what your best bet. You know all your numbers.
Yeah.
You just call it a 44.5 and 43.8. Your best squat 625. Your best bench for. You know all your numbers, but you got some of these starting kids. They'll lay down and start benching. I said, how many reps you got? Rack the bar, get up, say, oh wait, I don't know. How do you lay down and not know what you got?
Kids that come in here, they've been coming here for a month, weeks, whatever. They don't even know hey Jared, what do I put on for this week?
Yeah, I think you got some high school kids like that. I think because when you're in here in third grade, 50 pounds looks like on the bar. It's like just common knowledge for us. Yeah. And so once you become strong, like I was telling Colton, I said you have the strength to help someone, but some of these kids, you think they won't help?
Maybe not. I don't have patience.
You don't have the patience with them, but you know what?
Because
I'll take my time. I'll take my time with them, don't I?
Yeah, which I don't understand.
Oh yeah, because I don't. But I think what happened was, who I think one of the most unathletic people to ever walk in the gym was years ago. He used to hang out with Cody. Could not jump a 5-foot broad jump. Brooks. Need to get Brooks on. And I think Brooks really helped me realize, because I don't even know if he could tie a shoe. He couldn't do a lunge, couldn't squat, but he went on for a scholarship, almost breaking the freshman weight throw record as he got there. He was one of the fastest kids in the gym. He was also a 42 inch vertical jumper. And he went from we took him fairly quick. Once he learned this is what happened to his junior year too. He was here in 9th grade, 10th grade. Brooks in here working out. I'm thinking, what the hell is this kid doing in here? Then all of a sudden, he goes from a 5'4" to a 4.5 40-yard dash, jumps a 43-inch vertical, 365 front squat, no box. And I think that kid's kind of helped me realize that you can really be whatever you want to be if you put the time in, because he came here every day. I didn't see his mom and dad for 2 years. And I said, what the hell does this kid keep coming in here for? But it turned out to be something. You know, like you, Kyle. Kyle was doing the bar. I saw a picture of him like here, one hand here, one hand way down here doing the bar on bench press. Kyle couldn't bench the bar. He goes on later to break a world record in bench. That's what I think. I think people have got to realize you can be whatever you want to be if you put the time and effort in. Just like you said, you weren't born strong, were you?
No, not at all. You just got to get to a point where you know you want to do it. You know, and consistency. That's the biggest thing. You should be consistent.
Yeah, whether in season, out of season.
Have a direction. Because you can come in here every day, work out, but if you don't want to get better, you're just kind of, you're not paying attention to the numbers, and it's just like.
Well, what about the kids that do? Like Willis. How you get that?
I don't think even seen him. I see him here all the time. I barely ever see him working out. See, that's the definition of consistency, and not even. He's consistent in coming here, but
he went from 4.9 last month to 4.8 this month.
I haven't even seen him touch a weight. I've seen him here probably almost 10 times.
Yeah, it's crazy. But you know what? That getting better is going to stop until he wants it, right?
Yeah.
All right, everybody. I think Colton. We talked about an hour and a half. Colton don't like to talk a whole lot, but he did a good job. So, any closing remarks? You want to follow you on Instagram page or?
No, I don't get on social media.
Colton, another one of my friends. That's the same thing. Dan Spieka, Lasky. Social media is dead and gone, folks. So anyway, you can check out some of Colton's. I'll repost maybe some of them on Instagram. You can check his Huddle out, Coltin Houser, COLTIN HOUSER, Huddle. You can see some of his highlights. What a beast and what a freak over the field. What a good kid. Colton's also been able to teach some kids some of the skills in here. He'll take his patience in some of them that try. But he's done a good job with him. And I'll eventually get to all of y'all's questions from Instagram and my email address. So sorry for the delay in doing another podcast. But anyway, it was a good time, Colton. Thanks for coming on.
Enjoyed it.
If y'all have any questions, hit me up on Instagram at Explosive Mechanics or my email at info@explosivemechanics.com. My email address is the easiest one, so I can save. Sometimes, like I said before, I'll get these messages on Instagram and I don't even know I'll get them. So don't mean to ignore you. Busy. I do everything myself. Got a lot of running around to do, and I train all the athletes myself. So sometimes I'm not on my phone all the time. People text message me that I know. Jared, you never responded to my text message. Okay, what do you need? And so that's me. So anyway, everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good day.